this is the Jeopardy group. My name is Josh Caney, and I'm graduating with a major in computer information systems.
My name is Juan Mariscal, and I am graduating with a degree in computer science.
I'm Caitlin Jones, and I'm graduating with a degree in computer engineering.
And I'm John Schlotterbeck. I'm majoring in CIS. To talk about why we chose to do a Jeopardy game a little bit, we kind of decided that we wanted to make something that was trivia based, whether it be local or like online. And we kind of just happened into the idea of Jeopardy because we found the J Archive, which is basically just a big collection of every Jeopardy clue ever. So we decided that we were going to make an app and work that into it somehow. So as far as our app description and use case, our application is a Jeopardy-style trivia game that features real Jeopardy questions from almost every episode that was aired. I think we have close to 10,000 or more clues in our online database. And within the app, it's essentially a gamified practice for Jeopardy. There's an online mode where you can play real time against other players, as well as an offline mode that would let you play against computer opponents. And both modes feature the full Jeopardy board with 30 clues, 6 categories. We also have an endless mode that essentially you go through and answer as many as you can in a row correctly. And that game mode features a leaderboard, so if you do get a high score, you are able to post your initials on the leaderboard, kind of arcade style.
We use several technologies to create our app. For the design process, we used Pencil to visually create a sketch for all of the pages that would bring our app to life. For our database, we elected to use Cloud Firestore on Google Firebase because some of the members had experience with it. It was an educational experience for our members who did not know how to use Firebase. We used it to store player data, leaderboard data, Jeopardy game data such as categories and clues, and we used it to store online game data for our online multiplayer mode. In order to obtain a large pool of Jeopardy game data, we used Python to write a scraper that pulled all this information from the J archive online. And then we put this information on Firebase so that our app could pull this data whenever anyone used any of our game modes. We used Android Studio to create our app using Java for code, XML for the page designs, and Kotlin for testing. Android Studio is great for app building since it allows us to work together smoothly through Git and build emulators on which to test our project. Lastly, one failed tech that we had was Google Play. We found that this would not be a good idea because licensing and wait time for approval was just not feasible for our time frame. Our initial thoughts were to use Google Play to help with matchmaking online players, but we elected to go with Firestore to help us with that instead, and it turned out great for us.
Android Studio is the main technology that we use to build our app. We chose it because it integrates well with multiple services. The Git integration makes it easy to commit changes, pull from GitHub, and handle merging multiple commits. There were multiple times where we had to either roll back changes on a certain page or had to merge together two different branches, and Android Studio made it easy to see which changes were being kept and which were being deleted. You can also edit XML layouts within the app and use emulators to test your app on multiple devices or Android versions. This was very useful when working on constraints because our layout looked fine on a Pixel 2 emulator, but had bad alignment on phones with different aspect ratios. It also has a built-in debugger and log system, which made it easy to troubleshoot and work on bug fixes. There was a steep learning curve when we started using Android Studio, but once you understand it, it's a very valuable tool.
One tool that was very valuable in the early stages of our app was the scraper that we developed. We wanted to pull data from an online database called J Archive. This website hosts almost every Jeopardy game and all the clues, values, solutions, and more that were shown on that episode. In order to collaborate on this, we used Replit, as an online tool to be able to work on the scraper simultaneously as a team. So to scrape the JArchive, we used Python in order to create our scraper, and we specifically used the Beautiful Soup package, which helped us parse HTML. Luckily, JArchive had a universal set of standards for how the data was stored, which made it easy to develop a scraper for the website, but we still ran into some issues. Most of our issues came from cleaning the data. Some categories relied on pictures, which could not be included because they were no longer hosted on JArchive. Also, some clues had symbols which were not parsed correctly, such as apostrophes, so we had to exclude that data before uploading to Firebase.
Alright, so looking at our demo, we're going to start with our solo mode first. Clicking on the solo button will open the difficulty screen, which is our first stop.
We have 3 difficulties, easy, medium, and hard, and that will just determine how fast the CPU will buzz in. John is going to pick hard because he wants to have a more challenging game. And as you can see, the categories and values will load into the board. On the left, we have the score keeping. Player 1 is ourselves. Player 2 and 3 are the CPUs. And then whenever John is ready, he will choose a category.
Alright, we like rocks and minerals for 200. And I do want to beat the CPU, so I'm going to buzz in quickly. It's going to ask us the luminescent effect some minerals show was named this after fluorite. And we are rocks and minerals experts, so we know the answer is fluorescence. If I could spell it right. Close enough. Put that in. We're going to get that one correct. Now, we want to do rocks and minerals for 400. But I don't know anything about obsidian, so I think I'm going to let one of the computers have that one. They're going to buzz in and get that one correct, and as you can see, player 2's score is now 400 because player 2 snagged that one for me. And now we're going to head back, and we're going to look at our endless mode.
So, endless mode is a pretty simple mode. It will pull a random clue from our Firestore collection, which has over 25,000 Jeopardy clues. And this mode will let you keep answering questions until you get one. If you get a high enough score, we have a leaderboard, and it will essentially let you list your name along with your score, and it will keep the top 3 players that have ever gotten a high score on endless mode. So John's going to go ahead and try to answer this one right here, and we'll see if he can get a high score.
And our biblical knowledge here is going to tell us that Matthew is the answer. Gotta submit that. Get it correct. Now that one was worth 800 points, so we're going to get 800 points added to our score. I'll let you take back over, Josh.
So with a score of 800, for right now, if John gets this one, his score will just even out at 800 and stay there. So we see the answer was Tanzania, and he'll continue, and it lets you see the leaderboard first. And we can see that his score is 800, and that should be high enough to put him in 3rd place. So if he hits continue, we see that exactly. Congratulations, you're 3rd place, and he's able to enter his initials. And that will be updated onto the leaderboard, as you can see right.
Right, and we'll look at our last mode, which is going to be online. I believe that I'm going to be the 3rd player once I hop into this lobby. I'm the 2nd player. So as the 2nd player, we're going to wait with the 1st player for one more player, and once they hop in, it will take us into our game. Let's see, all players in, moving to game. We are loaded in. The board will look very similar to solo, populate the same way, 6 clues per 6 categories. The scores there on the left. And I'll let Juan take over here.
Okay, yeah, and as John said, the layout is basically like solo. Because we have 3 players, we have to decide who will go first, and player 3, which is John right now, will start. The playstyle will be just like normal Jeopardy. The player who gets a correct answer will be able to choose the next clue. So John here will choose one of these clues. Just this one, all the players will be able to see this clue whenever the current player chooses a clue, and anyone can buzz in at any time. So John here will buzz in.
The B and GB Shaw. We've got somebody buzzed in for that one. Beat me to it. So we'll see if they get it right. Yep, and it looks like player one buzzed in on that one and got it correct, so they got their 200 points, and it is their turn to choose a clue next. So now we have the perfect foil for corned beef or pastrami at a Jewish deli is this bread traditionally made with caraway seeds, which I'm assuming is rye, but we're going to double check. Yep, alright, I'm going to buzz in because my best guess here is going to be rye bread. Going to submit that correct. So as player 2, I got my 200 points for getting that correct. It is now my turn. And we'll run through, everybody getting one wrong. They're going to miss their answers and lose their points. So I'm going to buzz in something in the 60s. I'm just going to put something random. Get that wrong. We'll have each of our other players also get theirs wrong. That moves us back and gives the reins to another player, and as you can see, each player lost 200. So, same style as Jeopardy. Alright. Alright, and that concludes our demo, and a big thank you from all of us for sticking around and watching our demo.